No, thank you very much. Well, before the motion was passed, in 2018, there were buildings which were released by the City of Johannesburg to private developers, to other entities in the city for redevelopment. So the rejuvenation program started long time ago. Then subsequently then there was a motion which was recently passed by council, which one seeks to get a progress report on the work that the municipality has done in terms of the revitalization of the inner city, the expropriation of these properties, and whether there are companies that have actually shown interest in the redevelopment of this building. But secondly, it talks about the city having to expedite its own internal processes for the rejuvenation of the inner city and reclaiming all the hijack and the bad buildings. Well, it will assist us as the department because we are custodian of human settlements, so it becomes our responsibility. Yes, understanding very well that there is an economic aspect of it, because we can not only claim buildings for residential purposes, but there need to be economic activities involved, so that those that are residing in the inner city then becomes participant in the economic activities within the inner city. So we are in cognizance of that. But we have appreciated this initiative because it will assist us to reclaim more properties, deal with bad buildings in the inner city, deal with crime in the inner city, because once we convert inner city into a construction site, it will push all these criminal elements away from the inner city. So we have appreciated that a lot. But the only challenge that we are having is that, you know, most of these buildings, or I would rather say majority of these buildings, they are occupied to full capacity. So that is the biggest challenge that we have, because we need to provide alternative accommodation for us to repurpose these buildings, because while they are still occupied, there is nothing that we can do. So that is the challenge which we have encountered as the Department of Human Settlements, because we do not have sufficient properties for alternative accommodation. Two, the other challenge that we have is that these buildings are now informal settlements. So there is a discussion now in the city to say we need to engage with national government, because how we define the informal settlement, it will make it difficult for us to recognize these buildings as informal settlements, because it is a building outside, but when you get inside, then it's an informal settlement, because you've got your illegal structures, you've got your illegal connections and everything else. So we do need to find ways of recognizing these buildings, some of them as informal settlements, so that the programs that we are implementing in the informal settlements are also applicable in these buildings, so that we are able to redevelop them. Challenges remains the same. Well, regardless of the city's resolutions, regardless of the council resolutions, challenges remains the same, because previously buildings were identified, there was a process to reclaim them, to expropriate them. Then they are expropriated, then you need to provide alternative accommodation. So now the city then has started an evacuation operations. We've done it with most buildings. So there are other 3 that the evacuation orders are ready for execution. We are working on 12. But the challenge is that we do not have alternative accommodation for the tenants that are currently occupying this building. So you then need to identify an alternative accommodation. And in the process of that, there is a contestation in Johannesburg, because those that are patiently waiting for provision of houses are saying, should we also go hijack, invade, so that we are prioritized? So now we need to strike a balance now while we are dealing with the reclaiming of the properties, finding alternative accommodation, but at the same time you need to address the backlog, especially to those that have been patiently waiting, because we've done it in Flairhof, because the court said these are the people that you need to provide an alternative accommodation for. Then Flairhof was identified because we had vacant unit. Then the residents in Soweto, they are saying, but why are you prioritizing people who have hijacked buildings in the inner city? So should we go and hijack and invade so that you prioritize us? So there's that contestation on the ground, and we are trying now to strike balance, so that at least all our constituencies, they find expression in our programs and they feel accommodated in our programs. So those are the predicament, in fact, that we are dealing with, which we seek to find lasting solutions on them, so that there is no conflict among our residents.